This is Loyal, a 10-year-old orphan boy with soft brown eyes living in a tiny storage room behind a general shop. He sits on his thin, worn-out bed, sometimes looking ahead with tired calm, sometimes lost in thought, sometimes with worry trembling on his face. He turns his back to the small window, and through it, children walk to school with bright bags, laughing and free. A life Loyal watches but can never reach. The shopkeeper who shelters him is a short-tempered man. Loyal works in his shop for food and a place to sleep. The shopkeeper moves around the shop with stern steps, his gaze heavy and strict. Loyal works quietly, hands small and careful, while the man watches, always judging. When scolding comes, sharp words and raised voices make Loyal shrink, head bowed, eyes trembling, silently wishing to be invisible. At last, in a quiet corner, he sits on the floor and eats his simple meal. Alone, but holding all his feelings inside. After a long day of work and scolding, Loyal curls up on his tiny bed. The dim lantern light fades as his eyes close. At last, sleep gives his tired little heart a moment of peace. Loyal woke up in the middle of the night, silent, staring into the darkness. Tears filled his eyes, sliding down his cheeks as he tried to stay quiet. He sat up, unable to hold it in any longer, crying softly into the dim lantern light, his little heart hurting too much to stay silent. He slid off the bed and fell to his knees. He buried his face in his hands and sobbed with all the pain he had carried for years. Through his tears, he prayed, "Why am I so unlucky? Why can't I study? Why can't I play? Why can't I be happy? Even once." He poured out his whole heart to God. As his prayer ended, a soft glow appeared above him. He felt its warmth and slowly raised his head. Eyes wide, hands close to his chest, astonished. A gentle voice spoke. "Loyal, I heard your prayer." The old wooden door creaked open by itself, light spilling through. The voice called softly, "Come outside." He saw the light and stepped out. He stepped out into the cool night air. The quiet yard opened in front of him. A soft glow followed him, lighting his path. He looked up as a gentle light formed in the sky. The stars glittered brighter around it. The night filled with a warm, heavenly glow. The light slowly lowered into the yard. It swirled like a tiny, shining universe. The grass shimmered and the path glowed bright. He watched closely, knowing something was coming. A shape of a horse appeared inside the glowing light. A white horse stepped out, shining softly. He stared in awe, unable to move. He slowly reached out his hand. He gently touched the horse's lowered head. A warm, new hope filled his heart. A calm voice spoke. "This horse is my gift. He will go with you everywhere. He will stay with you through your journey. And when your journey ends, he will return to me." Loyal gently touched the horse's glowing mane, feeling a warm magic rise around them. A gentle voice spoke. "Go, Loyal. See the world. Ask the horse where you wish to go." The divine voice said no one would see them. Loyal whispered, "Take me to a place where children are happy." He climbed onto the horse as a bridle and saddle suddenly appeared, ready to begin his journey. The horse leaped into the star-filled sky, lifting Loyal into his first magical journey. Loyal arrived at a bright, joyful park filled with children's laughter. He thought all children must be so lucky to play so happily. But Loyal saw many hungry children holding begging bowls around the food stall. He thought, "I never imagined seeing such sorrow in a place full of laughter." Loyal looked into the horse's gentle, wise eyes as it seemed to say, "This is your first lesson. Loyal whispered, "Take me to a place where people have everything." They reached a beautiful mansion glowing under the moonlight. Loyal thought rich people must be the happiest, until he heard quiet sobbing. And beneath a moonlit tree, he found a girl clutching her father's photo, crying for a man who would never come back. Loyal looked at the horse, and in its quiet, gentle eyes, he understood the truth. Even the brightest places can hide sorrow. Loyal leaned close and murmured, "Take me to a place full of celebration." Loyal rode into the bright festival, amazed by the colors, music, and laughter around him. He looked at the joyful crowd and thought, "So this is what real celebration feels like." Behind the bright festival lights, Loyal saw a woman quietly crying. Her handmade teddy bears lay unsold, and she had no way to earn even a little that night. Loyal felt the horse's gentle touch, and in that quiet moment, he understood that happiness and sorrow can exist side by side. Loyal asked the horse to take him to a school in the daytime, curious to see how children learn. Loyal arrived at a bright modern school, eager to see what children's lives were like inside. In one classroom, children learned with joy as the teacher guided them with patience and warmth. Loyal watched the happy students and felt the brightness of their world. But in another classroom after school, Loyal saw a strict teacher scolding a frightened boy who sat alone, struggling to understand his lessons. Loyal sat on the ground as the horse lowered its head toward him, silently showing that joy and fear can exist side by side. As warm daylight glowed softly around them, Loyal climbed onto the horse, asking it to show him the working world beyond. When Loyal entered the rich man's office, he saw the businessman talking proudly on the phone and thought he truly enjoyed his work. But when the man shouted, demanding to become number one always, Loyal saw how greed had taken over him. Outside the grand building, Loyal found the horse waiting for him, and its gentle eyes told him there was more he still needed to see. Loyal quietly climbed onto the horse's back, ready to follow it to wherever the next truth waited. The horse brought Loyal to a poor work area, and as Loyal watched the tired workers pass by and heard one whisper, "I just want enough food for my family," his heart grew heavy. Loyal rested his head against the horse's neck, realizing how the rich cried for more while the poor cried for their basic needs. "Horse, why do some people hurt others who are weaker than them?" The horse began walking gently, carrying Loyal toward a dusty, narrow lane where the answer waited in silence. Soon, the horse brought Loyal to a dusty lane where a weak donkey was being cruelly whipped. Suddenly, Loyal saw a little girl run forward and wrap her arms around the trembling donkey, begging the man to stop. Loyal looked at his horse with tear-filled eyes, and the horse gently lowered its head, reminding him, "Cruelty happens when kindness is forgotten, but kindness can return." Still shaken by what he had seen, Loyal held the horse tightly and whispered, "Take me to a place where people rise even when everything is broken." The horse carried Loyal into a ruined village, and as he looked at the broken homes and fallen trees, his heart tightened in silence. In the storm's silent aftermath, Loyal and the white horse watch a grieving woman cling to her ruined memories. Amid the ruins, the weary man rebuilds piece by piece, proving hope can rise even from splintered wood. In the ruins of their broken school, a little girl draws a simple flower on a fallen board, planting hope where everything else had fallen. Next, Loyal quietly watches an old man weeping beside the collapsed well. Loyal watched as a young man gently draped a white blanket over the shivering old man by the ruined well. The young man gently pulled the old man into a warm embrace, offering comfort where the storm had left only sorrow. Loyal saw a woman gently sharing food with her struggling neighbors, a quiet act of kindness shining through the ruins. Next, Loyal saw a group of men working together, lifting heavy debris with quiet strength and unbroken determination. Then, Loyal saw children carrying water with quiet determination, doing their small part to help their broken village. Loyal watched from afar as a young mother gently soothed her baby, a quiet moment of tenderness glowing softly in the broken village. Realizing their strength, Loyal whispered, "Their courage is bigger than their sadness." With a final quiet glance back at the village, Loyal departed with the horse, carrying the hope he had discovered. Under the quiet night sky, Loyal stood beside the glowing horse, remembering every joy, sorrow, and hope he had witnessed. Loyal listened as the gentle divine voice asked him if he had truly seen the world as it is. Loyal softly whispered to the divine light, "Happiness is not a perfect life. It lives with sadness, courage, and gratitude." Next, Loyal hugged the horse tightly, tears in his eyes as he watched his gentle companion dissolve into shimmering, smoke-like light. Loyal looked at his small, quiet room, feeling grateful, and whispered softly, "I have enough, and I have hope." Loyal knelt quietly on the floor, hands clasped, offering his heartfelt prayer in the soft glow of the lantern. True happiness is not a life free from pain, sorrow, or struggle. It is the courage to face difficulties while holding on to hope. Happiness exists alongside sadness, richness alongside emptiness, and kindness alongside cruelty. Appreciating small acts of love, resilience, and courage in everyday life brings lasting fulfillment. The journey itself, with all its light and shadow, is what teaches gratitude, empathy, and true contentment.